the folks who are reading your blog and driving that content, how do they find you?
That's a great question, and I need to kind of take a step back and answer it in two parts. You know, I do own a local brokerage, and we are trying to sell houses in my market. But I spend actually a little bit more of my time on building a brand nationally. I'm a franchisor. I'm trying to sell franchises across the country. So for me, the geographic dispersion of social media is perfect, okay? But let's set that aside for a moment because that's not what you asked me. How do we do things locally? You can do geographic searching and following on a Twitter client like TweetDeck or Hootsuite.
Yeah.
So you could go in and you could create a column that searches for the term, let's say, Royal Oak, okay? And so you then look for people who are talking about Royal Oak, you follow, you engage, you strike up conversations. We have picked up clients using that technique, and I could point you to probably 5 examples this year of people we've befriended in that fashion who have become our client.
I am very adamant that any business is about the numbers.
Well, there are two, very, very opposing schools of thought here, which I know you're familiar with. One is the numbers don't matter. It's all about the quality of the relationships. You're better with 100 great relationships than 10,000 meaningless relationships. I don't disagree with that. However, for my business, and certainly for yours, there is strength in numbers, and I view it as almost like a baseball analogy that are you more likely to get 1,000 hits if you have 1,200 at-bats or 100,000 at-bats? You and I are both trying to get hits. You're trying to lease apartments, I'm trying to sell houses.
Sure.
And so the more people we can touch, the better.
To put this in perspective, when we're talking apartment communities, most probably don't have more than 100 Twitter followers, maybe less than 100 Facebook fans. Our apartment brand here for Urbane, I think we have just under 10,000 Twitter followers, and we have about 4,000 Facebook fans. And I just know as that number grew, our opportunities with that grew. And
absolutely,
again, I certainly agree with you that it's certainly about relevant followers and fans, but to think it's okay to only have a handful, particularly when the handful is half your staff and another half of the half are other people in the industry.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the analogy that I like to use is I think of social media like a TV station or a radio station. If you were setting out to create a radio station, would you say to yourself, I only want this to be heard by the people that are perfect for them to hear? My view is, no, I want to reach everybody I can, because one is, even if you hear my message and you're not looking to buy a house, you might be out having lunch with a friend and you'd say, there's this maniac guy in my market who has a real estate company and you wouldn't believe all the content he puts out on Twitter and Facebook, and that person might say, really, tell me about that. Okay, do I need to finish the thought? I mean,
sure.
Right there, it's just another connection made for me out in the world, and that in a nutshell, that's what I'm trying to do.